Hello, babe. Afa, mo ti ṣe ń sìn. Mo ti ṣe. Mm. You're welcome, Mama. I've seen your pretty face. You're welcome, Ma.
Thank you. I did not read the document that you sent. I didn't read it yet. Only the first page.
That's fine, Ma.
Oh, okay.
We'll wait for others to join. So where about you stay, madam?
Are you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't understand. What was the question?
Where do you stay? Where do you
Well,
where do you live?
I live now in the Netherlands, but I come from Curacao, the
Wow.
Caribbean. Yes.
Mm. Okay. Yes, we go live. Yes, yes, yes. It's 2 o'clock. And I'm so excited to be seeing everyone. You're welcome. So we'll start straight away so we don't spend too much time. I'm hoping in 1 hour we should be done by God's grace. Okay, so this workshop would bring back memories. So it's just to prepare our minds of what to expect. So you might become emotional at some point, but it's all for good. It's all for us to become a better version of ourselves. So I would ask you some questions just before we start. How disconnected do you feel from your roots at this point? When was the last time you felt connected to your roots, like where you came from, who you really are? Because today we'll be talking about that just right away, about language, about yourself, how you can become who you've been ordained to be. So you're welcome. I welcome you once again to the class. I'm Victoria Adegoke. I'm the founder of Transform Me Academy. So it's an academy that started not long ago from a vision that's sprouted due to what we see now, people disconnected from their roots. And you cannot really rise if you're not connected. Even the Bible says, if the foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do? So there is the need for us to be connected. That is the place from where we know who we are, who we truly are. So who we are is our true identity. That is whatever we become. That is the foundation, our root. And if we don't know who we are, then the world is ready to give to us what they think we are or who they think we are. Having said this, I know many of us will be thinking, how is it possible that language will be able to transform? How would culture transform? How will all of this bring about transformation? And that is exactly why we are here to discuss these points. Reconnecting to your root, language, and culture. So if you would be honest with yourself, just read the questions that are in front of you slowly. Do you feel confident? You might understand your language, yes, but how confident are you? Do you feel disconnected from your roots? Does your children even know your heritage? Do you know what you stand for? Do they understand? Do you sometimes feel you are Nigerian enough, or because of migration and possibly where you currently are, you've you've turned to, you've changed. You are no longer who you were meant to be. How convinced are people around you? When you think about who you really are, how convinced are they? Are you Nigerian enough? Or from whatever parts of the country, of the world you might have come from? Because culture cuts across everyone, no matter, not minding wherever you've come from. It's all about everybody. If this resonates with you, if you're feeling the same way I am feeling right now, then it means you are meant to be here. You are exactly where you are meant to be right now. Because in this workshop, we'll be resetting a lot of things, putting in place all that needs to be put in place so that we can rise, so that we can rise. I'll be telling you a short story about myself. Why do you think I intended, like, what was the ignition factor in me that made me want to go for this vision with full force? What's the passion? What's the driving force? When I come from Nigeria, and from a particular ethnic group, not a majority, a minority actually. I come from the minority ethnic group in Nigeria. My parents are both from there, and they migrated to another part of the country, Yoruba. That's one of the major ethnic groups in Nigeria. But because we migrated, that didn't still stop us from being who we are, Ebira. That's a minority group. So right from very young, we were taught how to speak, how to relate, what to do. We're made to understand the basic things, how to communicate, the culture. And coupled with that, where we were living, Yoruba, I learned the culture as well, participated in every capacity that I was needed with full force, the secondary school I went. And by the time I graduated, I became like a multicultural person, so diverse. I was able to navigate different areas, and it was a benefit for me. And looking at other families, you would see even some people that were originally Yoruba, you will hear them speak English to their children. They were so disconnected. So it's right from then, I had like the pressure inside of me, like to bring about a reorientation of what the ideal should be. It is believed that we're colonized. Yes, Nigeria was colonized by the British. We gained freedom. But can we truly say we've gained freedom? Are we not still trying to imitate? Are we being ourselves? So, having said that, knowing my culture, my identity, my being, my environment, what was a huge benefit for me as I graduated, finished secondary school, and entered into university. There was so much opportunity that was open to me, all because I was able to speak and to relate with people around me. Not so long, I lost my father, but that didn't stop anything because I've been raised to know who I am and what I can achieve by knowing who I truly are, who I truly am. So my passion further became ignited when I migrated into the UK, and I saw a lot. People trying to become white, people trying to become they are not. People losing themselves. Sense of identity, zero. There's like so there arose an anger inside of me. Parents, when I see parents excited because their children can speak the Queen's English, like it's a nation changed, but their natural language they cannot speak. And those children, they are left to to drift between two places. They are neither Nigerian, neither are they British. They are left confused with no sense of identity. They try to become who they are not. They are being deprived of what is important. And that is the reason why this vision was born. So I sat and I thought, how can this narrative change? How can I bring about positive change to ensure that people understand who they are? How can we truly celebrate our heritage? Because we know that Transformation starts from the root. The root is who we believe that we are. And if we don't know, then the world is ready to paint us whatever they feel we are. We can't really be confident if we don't know who we are. That was a turning point for me. Hence the vision to bring about people who are culturally aware and become transformed through that. So I will go to the next slide now. The reason why this academy is different from what you're used to, because I know we have people who teach languages, a lot of people. And while I think you would need this academy is this. The traditional learning of language is done by memorization. People just memorize. Sometimes they do grammar drills, which make them end up having just the surface knowledge of what they really need. But I put it to you that language is not just, it is not just about language. If it is about language, then that is not who we are. It is not just I can speak, but it is about applying what you're saying to who you are. It's about what you've known, applying it to real life situations. It's about belonging. And that is what gives you the true power to rise. There are so many benefits to understanding your roots because culture is diverse. And we know there are various aspects of culture of which we have benefited from. So we have the language part, we have the music part, we have the part that deals with proverbs, where you learn about proverbs and you're able to apply them to real life situations. We have the rituals and the practices like the respecting elders, respect to people, love for people. We have stories and oral traditions that are passed on from generation to generation, but unfortunately, all of these are being lost because even as parents, most of us don't even know these things. How can we then pass it on to our children when we don't know? We know that the stories and oral traditions, they carry wisdom, they carry values. They are lessons that we can glean from. And when we absorb all of this knowledge, there is a mind shift that it gives to us that makes us go beyond even our limitations. We have rituals and practices like daily greetings. Now we see children that are not even culturally aware. They barely greet you. Ceremonies and celebrations that were meant to absorb and pass this on. But these are lost. These are lost. We also have the language expression, like the idioms, the proverbs, unique expression that reveals our intellectual capability, how we think. Now, even when you tell a child some things, they don't understand. Looking at a child, sometimes you have to fully express yourself. They can't comprehend what you're saying. And those are the things that we we grew up with that built our emotional intelligence, that made us culturally and socially aware. That when we see people, we greet, but these are beginning to fade away. We have also the aspect of music, dance, and art. These are what provokes emotional response, the embodiment of true culture. If That, in fact, when we're young, we participate in those things and it makes us more relaxed. We are happy. But these are also lost now. Now we have different, like, prevalence of depression just because there is no community connection, which is another aspect of culture. We grew up to be connected. We knew ourselves. We were so glued together. Culture is a lived relationship, building community. But that is gradually being lost because we tend to keep to ourselves. Culture also broadens our worldview, our priorities, what we do part time, what we do part time. So this academy is identity, it brings about identity-based transformation in which all of the aspects of culture is woven together to bring about confidence, cultural depth, community belonging, so that we can revive what has been lost or what is being lost. And it is time to act. Even God told Abraham that he knew that he would teach his children. So it's a question for us. Are we truly teaching? Do we even know ourselves? Because we can only teach from what we know. In the academy, we'll be using language as a means of our power to build our voice and confidence. Language, not just by speaking, but by understanding and applying. We'll be using culture as a tool of transformation, our heritage as a tool of growth to transform. And by this, we'll be able to reclaim our true identity, who we truly are, what we stand for. This is how we become. Let me do with you a few exercises just to bring our minds back to what we've grown up with, but is gradually being lost. Look at the proverbs in front of you. We have the version in Yoruba, we have in Igbo, and we have in Hausa. And these three languages are the major ethnic groups in Nigeria. We have many other ethnic groups, but these are the three major ones. And below, we have the meaning of what is being said. So just take your path. If you are Yoruba, read. If you are Igbo, read. If you are Hausa, read. And if you are none of this, then read the English version. We can see how powerful proverbs can be. A person who does not know where they are coming from will not know where they are going. This is so true. This is so true. It's an ancient proverb, but how often do we even remember these proverbs anymore? How often do we use them? It is when you know where you are coming from, then you'll be able to know, oh, this is where I'm going. And you pursue that course. Of a truth, language is not just about speaking. It is not just about tradition. It is about our identity. It's about who we are. The meaning of the phrase we have just said, it's about understanding your origin. There's another proverb that says, a river that forgets their origin is prepared to dry up. That's another Nigerian proverb. Just imagine teaching yourself first before your children, of all of these proverbs, the wisdom that they carry, when they keep thinking about these things, even when you're not there, it is resonating with them. Even if it's just one proverb per day, even if it's one proverb per week, it's there. Communicating even the words that you are not saying. The proverbs you just said, ẹni tí kò bá mọ ibi tí ó ti wá, kò ní mọ ibi tó ń lọ. That's the Yoruba version. Whoever does not know where they are coming from will not know where they are going. It's not just about the language. It gives us a vivid picture of our origin, our family history, our cultural background, our traditions. It gives us our identity. It gives us direction. Because we know that without knowledge of our roots, it is difficult to define our path. It is difficult to go forward. How can this be applied then? It can be applied in making inquiry, asking questions. Some of us still have our parents. Some of us have our grandparents. Asking questions, being curious. The things that we've neglected that we thought didn't matter. After all, I'm out of the country. After all, I'm educated. After all, I don't have anything to do with my local background. The things that we've neglected. Knowing this would make us curious to ask questions, to do research into who we truly are, what our origin is. And by that, we are able to preserve our family history. We are not lost when we do that. It also helps us to celebrate and practice our cultural traditions. This brings about happiness. Can we now say that, could it be because we've just neglected all of this aspect? We now have several cases of depression, no celebration. People keep to themselves. Nobody is willing to open up. Another area that we can apply our knowledge is when we are able to, it makes us to be able to reflect on our past experiences. I have just stated just one proverb, just one. And it's still just one. And look at the various ways that we've been able to use the benefits of just one proverb. That proverb will ensure that we're able to reflect on our past experiences, thereby setting future goals and ensuring that we are aligned. It also helps us to teach younger generation about our heritage. What are the lessons? Your roots is truly your compass. Our roots is our compass. When we know our history, we know our culture, it gives us a sense of identity and direction, gives us purpose and clarity for our future. I know many of us may be trying. Of the truth, we are trying. We teach our children. We want them to understand. But at some point, we may give up. Because they don't understand. They are not speaking. Even when you try to speak your native language, they tend to speak English back to you. They respond in English. They don't really care, despite your efforts. But this is why most people stay stuck. Why is this? There is no cultural context. No cultural context to what is being taught. Some people think it's just about being able to speak the language. It's good to be able to speak the language. But how about other aspects? The other aspects are the reason why we need to speak. There is a saying that if you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse is inevitable. The people that most of the time is our children that we are trying to ensure that they speak these days. They don't even know why they need there to speak because there is no cultural attachment to the things that we teach, no cultural context to it. There is no safe practice space. Sometimes we are not consistent. There are days that we are happy and we do this thing. There are days that we are too tired, we don't, and we don't really care. Even when our children tend to make mistakes, we can laugh at them. Like when they try to speak this language or try to behave in a particular way, we can be embarrassed. Take, for example, you've taught your child to greet, to kneel down, to greet and be respectful. But peradventure, they are done it the wrong way. You might become embarrassed and tend to correct them in a way that it doesn't makes them feel ashamed of what they are doing. No safe space to practice, no consistent community, no identity connection. And that is why we are here to bridge the gap, to close the gap. We have created a safe space for practice, an action plan for your transformation journey in ensuring that we bridge the gap between what we have become and what we ought to be, bringing close to us our root, our origin, who we truly are. This is why the Transforming Academy was created. It's a transformation space where language, culture, and identity come together. This is what we are changing. For we know that we cannot rise by being someone else. We rise by being who we ought to be. We rise by knowledge, by wisdom. We rise by integrating, not by imitating. We rise by being ourselves, not by being someone else. No. We rise by being who we've been called to be. How do we get this done? We get this done through life-guided session, just like we are doing now. This is not just a course. We are putting everything in us to ensure that our heritage is brought back to life. Is brought back to life from its sleeping position, from the dormant position. The Transforming Academy is not just a course. It's home where we connect, where we bring all the pieces together to become a whole. We don't just learn. We build real speaking. We build conversation that brings about confidence in us. We reconnect deeply with culture through the live sessions that we have, by learning stories and proverbs. When we do this, it makes us know who we are. We dive deep into our cultural heritage. We have identity conversation. And this brings about healing. We have speaking practice because it's a community we are building. It's a movement. And we're able to support ourselves through every step. Celebrate our progress. Now imagine this for yourself. Think deeply. Imagine for a moment that you can speak your language confidently, that you can teach your children proudly, that you can walk into spaces feeling rooted in who you are. That is the transformation that we are building here. Look at the wonderful woman that was the CBN president at some point and then went to World Bank. That's an example of a woman that understood who she is. Okonjo-Iweala is her name. No matter where she goes, she dresses in a cultural attire. She speaks the way she will speak. And that didn't stop her from sitting at the table at the World Bank because she knew her true identity. She understood who she is. She's not trying to become someone else. Now imagine for a moment if you truly become this kind of person and you're able to pass it on to your children. That way, you are preserving your heritage. You are preserving yourself. You're able to stand independent, truly, free from every form of colonialism, every form of slavery. Because the state that we are in at the moment is if we don't act fast, is a state whereby we are being colonized the second time. Children don't understand their languages. If you go onto Amazon, go to all these places where books are sold, people that are not Nigerians are the ones writing textbooks for languages, for Nigerian languages. And it's so sad. We see them come over to our country in Nigeria, and the old people, it is sad because you see these our fathers and mothers teach the white people culture, heritage, but they go back home to teach their children English, to speak to their children, communicate at home in English. And it's even sad. It would have been better if the English were the correct spoken English. It's usually the incorrect ones. So why not do what you know best to do and do it perfectly and rise from that state, rise from your root? Why not reclaim your identity? Why not reclaim your being, who you are? If we don't, it means our children will end up being taught by the whites. They will be taught their mother tongue. And it is what I'm saying, which is why the passion in me is being ignited. They're already coming over to learn the language, to learn the culture. And when the trips are down, you will have to pay heavily for your children to be taught all the things that they should have known. And at that stage, they will only be taught what they want them to know, not what is important to them. They will be taught what they want them to know because they are in charge. Because at this point, they know everything. Even you, as a mother, you don't really know. When we reclaim our language, we reclaim our identity. We reclaim who we are. We are proud of it. When we reclaim our identity, we reclaim our power. When we reclaim our power, we rise. That's the missing link. And if the bridge is covered, is closed, we rise. I welcome you to the Transform Me Academy. And all that we do is to ensure that we rise above whatever might be tying us down, above whatever belief that we have, limiting beliefs. I invite you today to join the Academy, and I will be honored to walk the journey with you through transformation. And at the end, you'll be able to truly pass your heritage. You don't just own it, but you pass it on. You don't have to walk this journey alone. We are happy to walk it with you. So there are different packages available for you and also your children. So we have the yearly cultural plan, whereby you join the community, and every day there are different things that we learn that helps us to build and grow, help us gain knowledge of ourselves. And also we have the language package where you can learn languages. And this cuts across all ages. So there are no age restrictions, because it is even said that children are able to learn faster than even adults. So there are no age restrictions. Remember my story? I was able to learn a lot of language, and that was an added advantage for me. Through school, to the point that I got married, because I didn't even get married to my ethnic group. I got married to another ethnic background. But thankfully, I'm able to speak fluently. So it's an advantage. When I got to school, I knew nobody, but I survived through school for 5 years. And that is because of the advantage of culture, the values that I've learned. It is so important to learn and connect. Back in Nigeria, we see these advantages flying around us, but we tend to neglect. Take, for example, if you go to the market, you want to buy something from an Hausa man. He knows you are not an Hausa person, but by speaking his language, he becomes so connected that he's willing to sell whatever you're willing to buy at a cheaper price, if not for free. Even the Igbo man, we see the way they are united, and that brings about unity. And we know when we are united, we grow. Even God did not dispute that. As the men of Babylon, as they were building the Tower of Babel, God indeed understood that unity in language, unity in culture and understanding, with it is your power. You can achieve anything. And that is why the only way to stop a man is by bringing a disparity between him and his language and who he is and his origin. God caused confusion in the men of Babylon by bringing a confusion around their language. And by that, they couldn't achieve so much. But the academy is a unifying factor to bring us back to where we should be. And through that, we are able to build and achieve anything that we intend to achieve. I'm happy to walk you through and to sign up for our courses. The yearly plan, it's a 1 year plan, is £50. And that will be starting in April, all through till next year, March. And every day you have different packages that makes you rooted and connected to yourself, to your being, to your origin. And for the language plan, is a 3 monthly plan that you can always resubscribe to. Is to help you build your language vocabulary from beginner level to intermediate level and to advanced level. And for those that within a specified period of time that will be taking advantage of this course, there will be a discount. So whoever will be doing the 1 year plan, if you be going for your language classes, you will be only paying 50% of the language class. And you can subscribe also for your children, because sometimes it is really easy to learn from a community when they see other people learn, speak their language, like communicate together, share ideas. It is easy for them to learn that way. So putting them in a community where they can learn and grow makes it easy for you as a parent. And even when you yourself, you have a community where you can learn, it makes you and your child be on the same page. So and we have other packages in the academy, but these two, for the purpose of this course, these two, the yearly plan and the 3 monthly plan. The yearly plan is a transformation plan, whereby we walk you through your journey for a year, giving you all that you require to truly become transformed and deeply rooted in who you are. Because we know that transformation starts from the roots. So by the end of 1 year, I promise you, you'll be truly transformed because you would have been exposed to a lot of things that you think you may know, but you do not know. The things that have truly helped me become who I am. That no matter where I am, where I stand, I am known for who I truly am. And I'm not afraid to take any step because I know who I am and I know I can achieve a lot with God on my side. So this girl in front of you have a lot of success stories just by being culturally aware and sensitive. There are so many advantages that I've enjoyed by being culturally aware, not just by knowing my own culture, but by knowing the culture of other people, even maritally. So I'm happy to take your questions now. You can unmute your mic and then I'll take your question. If you have any question for me. Any question? Okay. So I take it that possibly we are trying to digest what we've heard. So yes, it's good to digest what we've heard. So the discount is still available. Do let me know. You can, if you don't want to say it on the group, you can personal chat. You can chat me personally, and I'm happy to walk you through the different plans that we have. In case you can't pay once, you can also pay in installments to make it easy. So I would want you to go through your workbooks because when you go through when it makes you, it helps you to reflect. Because sometimes we don't even know what we truly need until we've sat down to think about it. So I will leave you with this word. Transformation is from the root. When you know where you are coming from, it helps you to know where you are going. So think about the future, not just for you, but also for your children. Thank you so much for your time. I do not take it for granted. I feel truly honored to have you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
I think there are
Any
some questions in the chat.
on the chat? Okay. Let me go on to the chat. I can stop sharing now. So, sharing. Okay. Yes, ma, on the courses. So, like I said, there are the daily tools that we do. For the yearly plan. So there are daily tools that we do. And that is to help us become aware. We use proverbs, and those proverbs is not just by saying it. Just like we had broken, it was just one proverb that we had used today, and we had broken it into several aspects. And in fact, we are that the way we've broken it down, we can just run off and start working with with it. So we dissect the proverbs, the idiomatic expression, and that is where wisdom truly stands. Proverbs. Even I do tell people, if you want to be wise, read Proverbs, the book of Proverbs in the Bible. So, and Nigerian Proverbs, we've got a lot of them. And let me just tell you that what we are even dissecting is not just Yoruba Proverbs. We are going cross-cultural. So we will dissect, we talk about Igbo Proverbs, Yoruba Proverbs, Hausa Proverbs, talk about different proverbs that would bring about transformation in us. There's also the celebration part, the rituals, the practices that we've forgotten, that we've long forgotten, and will bring about ways that we can bring this into practice. That thereby bringing about connection. You are connected to yourself, then with others, with your family members, with people around you. So, and also there could be music suggestions. It is even nowadays that we have music that don't edify. In 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 the- in in the previous days, we have music that edify. That even the lyrics of those songs would bring about transformation. So we have that as well. And it's all through the year. We will run that. There will be times that we'll have webinars and courses to discuss our growth and what we can do, limitations, whatever. And you also have access to speaking to me personally on whatever area that you think might be of help. Take, for example, we have some people that might be thinking, oh, I can't really teach my children. They don't understand. But for me, for example, using myself as an example, because of the knowledge that I gained, that I got while growing. When I got married, one of the resolutions I made with my husband is that we are going to teach our children our language. And no matter what was at that time, 80% of the people around us communicate in English with their children because that was what was trending. Like you can speak Queen's English. My children go to British school. They do, but that we were still in Nigeria then. So when we migrated to the UK, my daughter was 3 years old and my son was a year old. But we insisted that this was what we wanted. And we carried on. Now, my two children can speak fluently. In fact, they can interpret. When you speak in English, they can interpret whatever you've said. They can speak fluently. That's not to say there were not challenges, especially when they started school. There are times that you are speaking, they want to speak English, but we insisted and we told them the benefits. We educated them, used different tools to ensure that whatever we are trying to pass on is absorbed. And now they're able to do all of those things. They greet unashamedly. They greet culturally. And that doesn't say they are not culturally aware as well. They know when to. If it's white, sometimes when they greet the white people culturally, they tell them, this is how we greet in my culture. They will educate the person, and the person will be like, oh, really? In Nigeria, you knew that to be? They said, yes, that is how we do in Nigeria. And that way they are connected. When they see old people, no matter how old, in as much as they are Nigerians, they love to be respected. And if that is done, how would you not benefit from that act? So that is what we run. I think I'm not sure if this is a question. I'm trying to think. Okay, so have I answered your question, Ma? So for each course, we have workbook. We have workbooks that will be given to us to help us reflect, ways that we can practice. We'll walk you through your journey, ways that we can practice, and tools that we can use to transform and grow. No matter the English that we say, if we don't know who we are, we can't grow. We can't. We can't. And it's just to help us preserve our heritage. If God wanted us to be white, we would have been white, like from birth. So the reason why you've been born in Nigeria or wherever you've been born, God understands. And if you don't connect yourself to your origin, that purpose will be for that purpose wouldn't be accomplished. Because there are some things that are needed to be put in place to accomplish the purpose for which the Lord has created us. So for every reason, God does not do things just anyhow. No, for everything He does, there is a reason why it's happening. So it is important. It's important that we grow, that we learn. If we don't learn, we can't grow. So thank you so much, Ma. Yes, exactly, Ma. Thank you, Ma, for buttressing that. That's the children. There's no way. No matter how they try, they are not. Seriously, no matter if the sometimes I feel it in my heart as if it's just directly me. Possibly that's why the passion and the bet for the academy. No matter how they try, they cannot be. Some people are concerned about their hair. Imagine hair that you should be proud of and carry your hair with pride. Some people are concerned about their color, concerned about their accent. So it is really disheartening, but the job is on us, and we are able. The academy is happy to work us one hands in hands to ensure that the vision in preserving our identity, our culture, our heritage is bettered, and it's able to produce visible fruits that when people see, they will know that indeed these people, they know who they are. And I know it's part of what the Lord is putting in place to ensure that we don't lose who He has called us to be, who He has called our children to be. Because when they are not confident, when they are not happy in who they are, then they are able to they can be easily confused rather. They're easily confused. Identity crisis, trying to become somebody else. They're not able to harness the potentials that the Lord has placed uniquely inside of them. So let us rise and walk this assignment that the Lord has placed in our hands. I think I'm beginning to become more spiritual now. Yes, it's actually a passion in my heart. It's a passion in my heart. So if you think this is for you, of which I know it is for us all, it is for us all. Especially everyone, not even those in diaspora alone, because back home I did mention that 80% of people speak English to their children, and it's sad. It's sad. Some even beat their children to speak English, English that you cannot even speak correctly. I, for one, I understood my native language, understood the immediate environment I lived, I understood their culture, and I that didn't make me fail my English exam. I passed with in distinctions. Because when you understand your native language, it is so easy. So easy for us to do what the English part, because even our native language carries more weight and meaning than the English. Sometimes when I sing, I prefer to sing in my native language because I understand it is touching me. When I read the Bible, sometimes I prefer to read the Bible in my native language because I am able to comprehend. It carries weight, it carries meaning, but it's like those things are being lost, but we will not let it go. We will not let it get lost just like that. No, we are going to retrieve every aspect from culture to language, retrieve it back and ensure that we become who we've been designed to be. Yes, I did say that it will be for an hour, and it's 2 minutes to the end of the class. Do we have any other question? I don't think we do. So the conversation continues in the community. Feel free, if you don't want to speak in the community, to speak, so come to me. But then you can even start meeting people in the community. Meeting people, because that is one of the advantage that we had culturally. Culturally, people you don't even know, in minutes, you can connect. By speaking, just speaking, you can connect with them. But now it's lost because we've become suspicious of ourselves with no trust, nothing. So by God's grace, this would be reignited and our heritage will not be lost. So thank you for your time. I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for your time. And please reach out. Reach out. I will leave you to go if you've got no questions for me. Thank you. Hmm.
I think it's over, right? Yeah, done.
Yes, yes, sir.